Hello everyone, Storm 11 here. Today we'll be talking about a very potent system as expected to roll through Kentucky on Saturday that could bring major flooding concerns, and also winter tries to come back next week as well, even with some snow chances. So let's go and get started with the National Weather Service watch warning advisory display across the country. A lot's going on out there. Winter really hanging on still across the northern two-thirds of the country. All those, purple and pink boxes, those are winter weather related advisories and warnings. And you also see these these blue or sign in boxes across parts of the central and northern U.S. Those are cold weather advisories where temperatures can get very cold. We also got a severe weather outbreak in progress in the deep south. Areas in yellow that's a tornado watch, which includes southeastern Louisiana, southern Mississippi, and the southwestern Alabama. We've had a couple of tornadoes down there so far today. Locally in Kentucky, in terms of the temperatures as of right now, temperatures are mild across parts of southern Kentucky, low to mid 50s out there. Western Kentucky trending colder as that cold front is moving in, as temperatures drop in the upper 30s out there, even some mid 30s towards Northern Kentucky, and everybody's going to be on the colder side tomorrow, even with a slight chance of some snowflakes flying around. And I want to kind of go back here just a little bit here. Almost forgot that we do have a flood watch across southeastern Kentucky, and those are areas that could pick up another inch of rain, which could create some local flooding issues. We also have river flooding warnings out there, as well as some of the rivers out there are at flood stage out there. And that's going to be a pretty common theme out there, especially on Saturday. And we also have dense fog advisories in northern Kentucky. So let's going to get started here on looking at weather models. And you can see here, this is through tonight. We got a low pressure system that bypasses us to the north. Got periods of light to moderate rain that continues in southeastern Kentucky. Some of those areas down here could pick up another inch of rain or so, and that could create some local flooding issues. Good news is for tomorrow is that we're dry. No rain in the forecast tomorrow. Could be a few snowflakes, especially in parts of, I think, northern and northeastern Kentucky. Could see a few flakes fly around out there, but most of us stay dry. Friday is not a bad day. We do have a cold start. Lows in the 20s, maybe even some upper teens in the colder valleys as that high pressure system moves off to the northeast. And later today, we kind of get on this southeasterly flow, and that's going to make temperatures warm up into the 40s and even some low 50s in western Kentucky. But here we go on our potent system, and this is the system that I've been watching for the last several days. As we get into Friday night, clouds increase, especially in the western Kentucky, and then by Saturday morning, we got some showers, maybe even a couple of thunderstorms out there. And here comes all this rain here. This is Saturday afternoon. The entire state is dealing with some rain, even some pockets of moderate to maybe at times heavier rain. But the heaviest rain doesn't come in until Saturday evening and into Saturday night. And you can see here, and this is the European model, by the way. This is Saturday evening. Got 1,000 millibar low in western Kentucky. Got some thunderstorms out there, and there's going to be some severe weather ongoing just off to our south. Really Tennessee and points south and southwest. Could be dealing with a big severe weather outbreak down there. And I cannot rule out some areas down towards south central Kentucky, or I should rather say down towards the Tennessee border, maybe seeing some stronger thunderstorms. Now, this is a European model solution. It's got a strengthening low pressure system here, so you go from 1,000 millibar low northeast of Paducah to a 994 millibar low Saturday night into Maysville. Now, if this is the case here, we could see strong severe storms potentially as far north as the Bluegrass region. Really, areas south of the low track could have the potential to see some strong, maybe even locally severe storms out there, depending on how much instability we will have. And I think there will be some instability mainly towards the Tennessee border, but the track of the low is really going to determine how high of the threat the strong storm potential could be. But right now it's low, which is good. But of course, the main concern here is this periods of moderate to heavy rain, and that's going to create some flooding issues out there. And there could even be some major flooding out there as well. As that system moves away, any leftover moisture will be in the form of snow on Sunday. And Sunday is just basically a wintry type of day. Cold temperatures, got snowflakes flying around, mainly in the form of snow flurries and snow showers out there. And it basically stays cold beyond Sunday. Let's look at the GFS model for a different opinion. You can see here as we get into Saturday morning, here comes those showers, even some thunderstorms. It's got the greatest concentration of thunderstorms mainly across southern Kentucky. And here comes that low pressure system here. And you can see how this low pressure system strengthens throughout the day on Saturday. And you can see here how that low tracks kind of from Nashville all the way up towards southern Ohio. And really along in south and east, that low track is where we can see some of the heavier precipitation, especially along that low pressure system track out there. And you can see here, even with the GFS being a little bit farther to the southeast, it still has potential for stronger thunderstorms in southeastern Kentucky, maybe Saturday night. And then, once again, any leftover moisture can be in the form of some snow showers and snow flurries, which you can see here it's a little more enthusiastic compared to the European model Sunday afternoon. And let's talk about rainfall amounts. And the biggest concern on this system is how much rain that we're going to get. And basically all of this rain is going to fall in one day. So you can see the European model statewide 2 to 4 inches with a corridor of some 4-inch amounts out there. Now, the European model is not as aggressive as compared to some of the other models that we're going to be looking at here, so I will warn you guys in advance. But also, the European model has a farther northwestern track. It's a stronger system, so the rainfall amounts probably going to be a little bit lower, but still, where that low pressure system tracks, which would be in this area in here, is where we're going to see the heaviest totals. And I think there could certainly be a corridor of 4+ inches of rain in there, but most of the state would be anywhere from 2 to 4 inches out there. And that by itself is still a lot of rain that can certainly lead to aerial flooding and also river flooding as well. The flash flood threat is where the heaviest corridor is going to be. This is the GFS, and you can see here how it's much more aggressive with the rain compared to European model, but also the GFS is a little bit farther southeast. It's a little weaker, but you also got more training of those thunderstorms out there, which means higher rainfall totals. Generally statewide, it's anywhere from 1 to 4 inches of rain. Lower amounts towards the Ohio River from Paducah up towards Covington and Cincinnati, but down there across south central and southeastern Kentucky, and those are some big numbers. A corridor of 4 to even pushing 7 inches of rain down there. And if that verifies, there is going to be some major flooding down there, because those areas down there are absolutely waterlogged down there. They do not need any more rain whatsoever down there. And where the ground is so saturated, all that rainwater just basically runs off like it's concrete, which is my main concern about this, is how saturated the soils are. I mean, they can't suck up any more water. They really can't, because it's just so saturated down in there. There are some mesoscale models getting in range here. It's not in full in range yet, but it's almost there. This is the high-risk Canadian for rainfall amounts. And then again, it doesn't go for the entire event just yet, but you can still see where the heaviest amounts are showing up. And it's generally along the Highway 68 corridor from just about Lexington through Bowling Green. And you can see how it continues into western Tennessee. That's where it has a low pressure system tracking out there. And even though it doesn't go for the entire event yet, it's it's got already 4+ inch amounts out there, and even some amounts pushing 5 inches, especially down in Tennessee where it's even trying to push 6 inches down there. But generally statewide, it's going to be pretty similar to the rest of the models. General 2 to 4 inches with a swath of 4+ inch rains, depending on where that low tracks. And here's the name of, once again, doesn't go for the entire event yet, but it does give you an idea of what it could look like. And you can see there, kind of similar to the Harris Canadian, general 2 to 4 inches across the state with this corridor of 4+ inches of rain, which in this case here it goes from the Bluegrass region down along the Bluegrass Parkway down towards Hopkinsville down there. Corridor of 4 to 5 inches of rain down there. And then again, doesn't go for the entire event yet, which means some of these rainfall amounts are not done rising on this model here. So yeah, not looking very good out there. And this is the Weather Prediction Center outlook here for precipitation within the next 7 days. Let me actually bring this down to the next 5 days here. And really not much change here for the next 5 days. You can see where they're favoring the heaviest amount of rain, and that's pretty much really along and south of the BG and Western Parkways, where they got 4 to 5 inches of rain. Pretty much all of South Central Kentucky and the parts of Western Kentucky. Rest of the state is generally 2 to 4 inches. So either way, still a lot of rain despite it, regardless of the placement here. And here's the Weather Prediction Center's excessive rainfall outlook, or in other words, the potential for flash flooding or just flooding in general. We already have a moderate risk out there, and this is the first time we've ever had a day 4 moderate risk for flooding here in Kentucky. Now, they recently started doing this, days 4 through, I think, 5 or 6, type of outlooks. They started on this, I think, last year, and this is the first time we've had a day 4 moderate risk here in Kentucky, and that really gives you a sense that this is looking pretty serious. And they do have some strong wording on this. They do mention significant river and aerial flooding in the moderate risk area. So, and I think the most significant flooding is going to be where that low pressure system tracks, which is still to be determined. We'll have a better idea on the low pressure system track when it gets on shore in the western part of the country. Yeah, it's still out in the Pacific, but when we can get the weather balloon data in the western part of the country, models have more accurate data, and they'll shift towards a more accurate solution. And at that point, we can have a better idea where the heaviest rainfall is going to be, and even where the greatest severe weather potential could be, state-wise here in Kentucky. Obviously, greatest severe weather potential is going to be in the deep south. There's already enhanced risk of severe weather down there, and that's looking to be a severe weather outbreak for our friends down towards the south. Now, after that system passes Sunday, it's a wintry type of day, and we stay cold. Monday, highs struggle to get out of the 20s. That's a similar situation for Tuesday, though Tuesday could be a little bit milder. But you can see our next system here coming in from the west here. And this would be a wintry system for us. And this is the GFS, and you can see it's pretty much an all-snow event indicated by the GFS, and it's basically across the entire state as well. So it's a pretty decent-sized storm system out there. It's also not very strong, showing from the GFS, but the general timing of this, or the days to watch, would probably be as early as Tuesday and through Wednesday, and maybe even last on Thursday, depending on the speed of the system. We can look into more models. This is the European model, and you can see here it's got a couple of different pieces of energy going on here. So here's the first piece of energy, which is not that impressive for Wednesday, but it's got another system coming in behind it Thursday, and that actually looks a little more impressive there. compared to the first system. So there's some disagreement here, but what they both show is an all snow event, and we will have cold air in place, unlike the last winter storm. The last winter storm, temperatures were borderline, hovering around the freezing mark. This time, we'll actually have temperatures in the 20s, so we will have cold air in place this time. So we shouldn't have to worry about on how much cold air that we will have for the system here, because it's going to be certainly going to be cold enough. And I can really quick pull up the Canadian model here to see what it shows here. I don't think I've looked at the Canadian model yet for the middle of next week, but there's the first system, or Saturday system here. It's actually closer to the European model, tracks it more across the Ohio River. If that's the case, then we may have some severe weather issues. It's also just as enthusiastic with the snow, just like the GFS on the backside of it for Sunday. Most of the snow would be more confined east of Interstate 65. Could be some light accumulations. And here's the Canadian model. Much farther south of this system here, but I feel like that's going to be too far south here. And sometimes it's an overkill in the cold air as well at this range here. But regardless, though, it still shows a storm out there, and it's certainly something worth watching as we get closer. And finally, we'll look at the GFS anomalies here for the snowfall potential, and you can see here that there is a signal out there, and model members do show us getting snow sometime in the middle of next week. But I'm not going to get too deep into the specifics just because it's a week out. Still plenty of time for some changes out there, but it is definitely a system worth watching. But anyways, guys, this is all I got for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys liked this video, hit that like button. If you really like my channel, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell notifications so you never miss an upload. If you guys got any questions, you can put in the comment section down below. I need you guys questions. I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye and have a good day.